Hey, welcome to Captive Audience. It is Friday, October 4th, and here in the Pacific Northwest in Northeast Oregon, which is not the rainy side for those that don't know. It's a beautiful day over here. We had a little weather come through, and right now it's about 60 degrees outside. And if you haven't noticed, it is getting darker earlier. The days are definitely getting shorter. Fall is in the air. We had some sprinkles today, kind of cleared a little bit of the air. Hopefully, it helped a local wildfire nearby, although the wind probably didn't. And anyway, we've got a lot to cover with the news. Just thought I'd give you a little bit of a Northeast Oregon update. What's happening? And well, I'll tell you, we'll just start off in Oregon. And a story that I thought about talking about on Wednesday with Dawn, but I saved it for today, is that so we're going to start off with elections and things about elections and kind of a little bit of candidates and a little bit of what's on the ballot with those ballot measures and whatnot. And this first story is coming out of KLCC, and I don't know if that's Klamath Lake something or other, but anyway, KLCC, whatever that is, that the Oregon senators are urging the Postal Service to stop this consolidation they're doing. And if you're not aware, I live in Umatilla County, and yes, like and share also on X. Absolutely. Thank you, Nicholas. Hey, happy Friday. So, our two of our senators happen to be Democrats, but I'll take it. Senator Ron Wyden and Jeff Merkley have talked with last week. They talked with the union leaders about the Postal Service here in Oregon, because what has been happening is the Postal Service in Oregon has been consolidating all of the sorting to go to Portland. And for over here on the east side, it used to happen in Pendleton. And Pendleton has a big post office, had the capacity to sort all of our Eastern Oregon mail. I don't know all the mail that I don't profess to know all the mail that they handled, but all of our mail would go to Pendleton, which is 27 miles away, 30 miles away, and it would get sorted out there and then sent out. And it was relatively fast. And we also had mail service twice a day. So the mail came in the morning, and then the mail went out in mid-afternoon. So whatever, was picked up and whatnot, it went out. Now, the mail service here in Umatilla County, anyway, in the eastern side, all of our mail goes to Portland. We have one service a day, and that recently changed in the last couple of months. That instead of getting a truck early in the morning and then again in the afternoon, it was probably as it was making its rounds to go head back. We only get one truck a day, and that's in the early morning. And so, or maybe it's late at night, because I know that I have to have my mail. In order for my mail to go out, it has to be at the post office before 5 o'clock. So that means it's getting picked up. So the post office closes at 5, and it's picked up in the early morning. So whatever mail, it's going to be sitting there. Well, so I'm giving you that history because I've certainly noticed that the snail mail has gotten like super slow, super slow. And I'm a person that I still get my bills in the mail. Not all of them, but most of them. I don't get them electronically. It's all by choice. And I still write the check. I don't do it all electronically. I kind of mixed here and there, but I like doing it like that. Called me old fashioned. I don't care. It's the way. So so here we are. The senators, congressmen have asked, our senators have asked the Postal Service to stop doing this consolidation. But, they didn't do it for those in Eastern Oregon. They are asking those in Eugene, saying, it's no reason for you to send your mail from Eugene all the way to Portland. Well, it's the same damn thing here. It is from Eastern Oregon, from Pendleton. It's 3 hour drive. A 3 hour drive on a 4 lane divided highway, 2 lanes each way. And in the winter, it can be quite treacherous. So it like makes no sense to, anyway, I'm not going to repeat it. You already heard me. But so I'm glad that communities and some workers and some lawmakers are going, no, this consolidation isn't any good. And so I'm glad that they're doing that. I would like to see it go back to handling locally. For example, if maybe all the mail from Baker County, Wallowa, Union County, the counties around us went to Pendleton. I'm not sure exactly how that was. Like I said, I'm not in the postal plan of knowing, but our mail worked a lot faster. A lot faster. So now you compound the mail problem, and we are an all mail vote by mail state. It is not getting pretty, when you add the whole voting in. Let's see. Then you add the fact that the postal union is endorsed a president. There's another reason not to put a ballot in the mail. So, but I was glad that the senators pushed back, and we'll see if it comes to anything, from that. I highly doubt it, but maybe it will. Maybe we can get some mail put back, to a little more common sense here in Oregon. I doubt it, but you just never know. Well, on to some candidates. I will tell you, if you have not seen, I'm going to post a clip here, or not a clip, but an article that has a clip in it of the candidates for Attorney General. They were speaking, and they both actually say they can do more to curb illicit massage parlors. I had no idea that massage parlors were so popular here in Oregon. It isn't something that I've noticed in my community or even surrounding communities. It's also something that, well, I just haven't noticed it. It's not a service that I've looked for for sure, I can tell you. But that's a really good clip, and I've got to tell you that Will Lathrop knocked it out of the park. Absolutely knocked it out of the park. And when you listen to the two answers of Dan Rayfield versus Will Lathrop, there's like no comparison. No comparison. And so take a look. I posted the link there. Take a look at that. It's really good, and it just shows you Will Lathrop has such a command of the knowledge of what to do and how to do it, and understands the situation. And Dan Rayfield doesn't. In fact, he looks like he doesn't really understand just how the laws ought to work. That's kind of what I came away with. And, so I really support Will Lathrop. We need him as an attorney general here in Oregon. Absolutely. Another one I wanted to bring to your attention was Val Hoyle, who is running for re-election in CD4. The person who's running against her is Monique Despain. And Val Hoyle voted against the Fix Our Forest Act. Like, Oregon has so much forest. Why would you do that? She voted no on bipartisan legislation to reduce and prevent annual wildfires and to produce healthy, resilient forests. Why would you do that? And people need to know that. If you don't know, and share this around. I'm going to put the link in here because it's important how people vote. Are they really representing your district? And Val Hoyle is not. I'm not a person who supports Democrats at all. Haven't found any that are worth my support, for sure. And I think Monique Despain would just do so well, in representing Oregon and all of Oregon, not just the left's side. I truly, truly believe that. And it's a shame that Val Hoyle voted no. We've got huge wildfires. Every year we have huge wildfires. And it's because of mismanagement of forests. And, so the feds were trying to fix this, and especially on federal forests. They can't do it on state forests, but this is about federal forests. And it's, and this to be a bipartisan legislation. It was strong bipartisan legislation. And, in fact, even Speaker Nancy Pelosi supported this. So it's shocking that Val Hoyle voted no. I just, so no, she's, anyway, need to get Monique Despain in there. And another one is Janelle Bynum. Janelle is running against Lori Chavez-DeRemer. And I will tell you that this week, Wednesday, that, Hakeem Jeffries, who is the House Minority Leader, came and, was helping to do a fundraiser for her. We need to keep the seat. And we need to keep the seat with Lori Chavez-DeRemer. We need to do everything that we can to pick up seats in the House, pick up seats in the Senate, and help take this country back for when Trump wins. All of these elections have consequences. All of them do. And so we gotta do what we can, to help these candidates. We need to donate to them. And right now they're buying ads. They're making ads and buying ads. Ads are expensive and they need money. So I'm asking our viewers, our captive audience viewers, to donate to candidates that will help actually make a difference. There's a lot of races in Oregon that aren't going to make a difference. The candidates don't have a chance. But even if you gave everybody $5, each one $5, and I know economically times are tough. I had a candidate call me today and ask for money. And I get it, because they have got to run the ads. They're in the sprint for the race, the sprint to win. And we need to do everything we can to help them, really, really, really. And, Lori Chavez-DeRemer, I'm sure that she's not wanting to take Social Security away. I just don't, that's always a left talking point. They say Trump wants to do that. Lori, I'm reading your comment there. She's taking hits in the ad about her wanting to take away Social Security. And that very well could be hurting Lori Chavez Dreamer. I'm not familiar with the ad, so I don't know. But we need to, help people, help people win. Something that we need to defeat is Measure 117, ranked choice voting. And so I'm going to put this article, and this article is from a couple of days ago, that yes, she must speak up. I totally agree with you, Lori. She must. But yeah, there's a lot of people that just don't know what they're even listening to. What you read there, I go, well, that the Democrats always. Actually, the Democrats, you know what they do? They project exactly what they want to do. And they say their opponent is doing it, but it's actually what they're doing or what they intend to do. That's what the Democrats do. The liberals, the socialists, and, they're trying to take Oregon and the nation in more of a one world order globalist agenda. And one of the steps to doing that is ranked choice voting. And so in this article in the Oregon Catalyst, it's about the hidden loophole in ranked choice voting. And this article is from Wednesday, October 2nd. And the Diligent Taxpayer Association researchers have been studying the highly complicated and controversial ranked choice voting measure 117 as liberal aims to reinvent voting. And that's exactly what it is it's, well, we need to update. Sometimes they go, we need to have new rules. We need to update. You know what? Not necessarily. Everything doesn't have to be changed. And so the researchers of Taxpayer Association have discovered that there may be a statistical loophole or hidden imbalance that could empower some voters over others. Consider if 6 candidates, I'm going to read this article a little bit to you. If 6 candidates are on the ballot, rank choice voting demands that voters rank those candidates between 1 and 6. If you follow these instructions, you are in fact sending proportional votes to candidates you dislike, which can be used against the candidates you favor the most. Imagine that. The loophole emerges when voters do not follow expected instructions, excuse me, and they only vote 3 out of the 6 candidates in this example. By not ranking the candidates, you cut off sending them proportional votes. The downside is that under ranked choice voting, there are often multiple rounds of voting where candidates are slowly removed or in a process of elimination. For those voters who only vote for 2 or 3 candidates, if the voting is extended over 3 rounds, then your ballot is exhausted or eliminated altogether as the voting tabulations go into the 4th, 5th, or possible 6th round. And so I'm telling you, we don't want this. Your ability to have your vote matter in multiple rounds, if that occurs, is based on how many candidates you rank. So in effect, if you don't do them all, then you're actually hurting yourself, So it's not a good deal. We do not want ranked choice voting. I can't say it stronger. Vote no on Measure 117, ranked choice voting. And there is the Oregon Live, the Oregonian, believe it or not, has actually come out as an endorsement of voting no on Measure 117, saying that it is a premature adoption of ranked choice voting. And it's they're saying, so Maine and Alaska have both adopted it, and actually Oregon is one of several states this year of whether we're going to adopt that system. But it's and they're saying ranked choice voting has grown in popularity in recent years. But you know what? It hasn't. It has gotten passed. I don't know that it's popular just because some cities have been tricked into thinking this is a good deal. Ask them how much they like it. Because of the two states that currently have it, one of them is repealing it, namely Alaska is repealing it. So is that popular? No. I wouldn't say just because it is done by in some cities or counties or states that it's popular. No. It's how they've worded this article, quite frankly. And but the good news is, and I'm not going to go much more into this article, is they are saying vote no. So even the Oregonian is saying vote no. And the way it's written, they're saying forget it, vote no. And I'm so very glad. We need more coming out about this voting on 117, definitely. So let me go into Measure 118. I've got to find it here. I have it somewhere. Measure 118 promises Oregonians money, but it will absolutely come at a cost. And the cost is because it is a 3% corporate tax, but those corporations are passing that cost onto all consumers. And it can be actually compounded. And I've explained this before on Captive Audience, and it's Measure 118 is a carrot and a stick saying, oh yeah, pass this tax and we're going to give you money. In fact, one such voter pamphlet ad says, pay yourself first. Don't leave $1,600 on the table. Do what's right for your family 5 times each. Because if you're a family of 5, you would each get maybe $1,600. When this measure was first written, it was like 760. I don't remember if it was 760 or 960. Now they're saying it could be $1,600. It could also be a lot less than that. And it says that they will divvy up this tax money and pay it out to that's more than 4 million residents here in Oregon, no matter their age. But you have to have lived here in Oregon for 200 days a year. It's a resident. Now here's interesting. Residents who are born or die in a given year are still eligible for the rebate, even if a child is born on New Year's Eve. Well, if you die, how are you still eligible? Who are you paying? Who are you paying? I would like to know. Yeah, that's that unclaimed money, maybe. I don't know. It's crazy. We don't want this. So the Legal Revenue Office, an analysis from the state's Legislative Revenue Office suggests that the rebate amount, if this is passed in 2026, the first year it is sent out could range between $1,000 and $1,200. Credits. Now it's a credit. Oh, credit for your taxes. You get a rebate check. It's not cash in hand at the end of the year. Credits could range between $1,400 and $1,790, the analysis found. But even those numbers rely on variables that could shift depending on how the measure is implemented. Oh, wait a minute. If you're voting on, let's pass it and find out what's in it. It is really a carrot and a stick. And so who's behind it? A fellow who's definitely liberal and a one of those he's a former labor organizer out of Portland. But who else is behind it is California. Donors in California kicked in $500,000 to pay signature gatherers. And also another LA-based venture capitalist gave $650,000 to date to Measure 118. There's a lot of outside money from San Francisco, California. It's the outside money that is influencing this. And sadly, it's on the ballot. And sadly, there's people that are uninformed voters. Oh, yeah, I'll vote for getting free money. Yeah, and then it's all in the fine print, how it will be implemented. That's in the fine print. That's maybe after some certain other things have to get done. And so who's against it? Well, some of the largest business groups in Oregon are against it. Nike, Tillamook, Bimart, Home Depot, Walmart, Kroger, Coke Industries, they're all against it. The big Oregon businesses that will absolutely be affected by this, please vote no. Spread the word. Spread the word. We don't want this. And you do have to look at where it's coming from, who's behind it and where it's coming from. For sure. For sure. I want to talk about a few other things. Hang on, I'm looking for an article. While we're talking about voting or what's on the ballot, Lars Larson had a good article yesterday, and it is The Lies of DMV. Because DMV has, they found some illegal voters on the voter rolls, and but you know what? They knew about them for 2 months before they said anything to elections about it. They had known about it for back on August 1st, and they just never bothered to tell their bosses or the public. And as he says in here, the deep state keeps its secrets from the citizens. And, here you have the ballots going out in 2 weeks. And I can tell you, here in Umatilla County, those people are not going to receive a ballot. Those that are here on our ballots, on our voter rolls in Umatilla County, will not receive a ballot. And I'm really glad of that. And it's even double checked. And they are making sure they're pulling those ballots so they are not going out. And I'm so happy that in Umatilla County, I believe our election staff is doing everything they can that we have free and fair elections and the right things happen, the right ballots go out and whatnot. There's always a human error and things can, go wrong. I'm not trying to make an excuse, but they're doing everything that they can in our county. And I'm happy about that. I really, really am. Yeah, Lori, I'm reading your comment there, about the ones remaining, the businesses that are still here. Because if that passes 118, we're done, More businesses will leave. These are businesses that are here, and providing jobs. And it will just cost a lot of money for the remainder of us. So still going about, so I like this story, so now the DMV's claim to fix the whole problem. If they lied, he says, Lars Larson says, if they lied by omission 2 months ago, do you trust they're telling the truth to you today? No, frankly, I don't. No, I don't. And I believe that the numbers are higher than what DMV said. I've always believed the numbers are higher. Absolutely. Well, there's government never has enough money. They always say, oh, we need more money. And it's not really an income problem. It is what they are spending it on. And David, would always say, we need less government. We shouldn't have to pay what we're paying. And he was right. He was right. He's still right. And so in this article that I'm looking at from the Herald and News, Oregon counties say they'll need extra $834 million annually for roads and bridges. And when you get to the gist of this article, it is because of deferred maintenance. Deferred maintenance. And that is what I guarantee you, every city, everywhere, every city everywhere has deferred maintenance. I used to be on my community's budget committee, served a term, and one of the things I was disgusted by was the deferred maintenance, and that was in my little town. And I see it in other communities by how their roads are and whatnot like that. And the you have to do maintenance in your community. You can't just go, well, we'll wait till the water main fails, or we'll wait till a water tower fails. You have to plan ahead for all of these things. And every community has a contingency fund of some sort. You need it. You have to have emergency contingency money set aside for disasters, and also for that rainy day when something happens, when your sewer system fails, the digester fails. Oh my gosh, now we have to do that. And so here in this article, it says that all the Oregon counties say they'll need an extra $304 million annually for roads and bridges, because so many of the interstate highway system built in the 50s and the 60s. But yes, it was built in the 50s and the 60s, but it's also been maintained quite a bit. I see a lot of bridges that have been done. Now, granted, there's a lot of bridges that haven't been. And roads, you keep repaving over them, and it's what we have to do, right? And so they need more money. They need more money. And I saw another article that said, oh my gosh, we're not going to have enough money for snow plowing this winter. It's just not in the budget. Well, find it. The money's there, trust me, because Oregon has revenue records, truthfully. They don't tell you that, but they do. We've talked about the stories here. And what's interesting, we pay a road tax, right? And a fuel tax and things like that. Revenue from the state's 40 cents a gallon gas tax is faltering as Oregonians drive fuel efficient cars or electric vehicles. Oh, the unintended consequences. The average driver now uses almost a quarter less fuel than they did a decade ago, paying about $40 less per year in gas taxes. Well, of those gas taxes, the state keeps 50% of the highway fund, and 30% goes to the counties, and 20% goes to the cities. And if the state, why should the state do it? Why shouldn't the counties and the cities get it? Because the highways are federal. So just let the feds, which is all our tax money at the feds too, okay? It's not like the feds, I know they print money, and which puts us into the position where we're at today, why we have inflation. They print it and give it away to everybody else. Don't get me started. We're going to get there, actually, in that conversation. But so just letting you know that, and some counties actually have their own county-wide gas tax. 3 cents in Multnomah County and 1 cent in Washington and Clackamas County. And Multnomah and Washington counties charge a county vehicle registration fee. Interesting. They have spending problems, truthfully. Truthfully, they have spending problems. So, talking about some of the things going on here, the spending problems. I'm reading some of your comments here. Yeah, and the EVs, Lori, the electric vehicles are heavier, and the wear is worse. And actually, their wear on their tires, a whole lot of people complain, oh, the rubber on the tires. Well, it's worse on electric vehicles. They actually go through tires more than a gas combustion engine vehicle. I'll tell you, I get 70,000 miles out of my tires that I'm running, 70 to 90,000. And I love my tires. They're not rated that much, but that's what I get out of my. Rotate your tires often, every 5,000 miles. Change your oil, rotate your tires. They'll last a lot longer. So, I'm going to talk a little about, let me see what else I have here. Oregon. I'm going to stick to Oregon here a little bit. Oregon students are still stuck at reading and math levels vastly lower than pre-pandemic. This is awful. And here in Oregon, since we were talking about money, here in Oregon, we pay the most per student for education, and we rank in the bottom. It's awful. It's frankly a crime what is happening to the students here in the state of Oregon. So apparently, this is from the Oregonian, an article from the Oregonian. And schools across the state have been trying to help students catch up, but standardized test scores have stayed stubbornly low statewide. Oh, stubbornly low. And it's really a shame that it says here that academic recovery from pandemic disruptions continued for a third straight year in 2024, dashing hopes that the state students would finally begin to show substantial rebounds in their math and English skills. And they're saying, this isn't normal, says a teacher who's in her second year at the helm of the state's Department Education, Charlene Williams. I guess she's not a teacher. This is not where we want to be by any stretch of the imagination. Who the hell says it isn't normal? When you mask children and you have they have online learning at a crappy level. And you know what? There's a lot of students that thrive with online learning. It's all about the home environment and also the student and the discipline with that. But the data shows that about only 42% of elementary and middle school students scored proficient in reading and writing tests, about 9 percentage points below the 2019 scores, which were the lowest in the years. And so it's just getting worse. It's getting worse. It's getting worse. It's getting worse. And in math, 32% of 3rd through 8th grade ranked proficient, 8 percentage points below 2019 similar scores. You know, it's dumbing down the students. You all remember Jeff Reynolds, who helped start our captive audience. He moved his family during the pandemic to Florida. He said it was the best thing he ever did. And so if you are a parent and you're trying to get something out of public school in Oregon, you're failing your children. You really are. And it pains me to say that, but it's just the truth. You're failing your children. Get them into private school or go find a job and move somewhere else and get them something else, because Oregon's education system sucks. I'm reading here something else I wanted to show you. There is so much going on. According to the test results, an eye-popping number of Oregon students are in a category that they are way low. The tests Oregon uses sort students into 4 performance tiers in every grade, 3rd through 8th, in both reading and math. The largest group of students, ranging from 33% to 51%, performed at level 1, the lowest tier, and one that indicates the student hasn't shown anywhere near the needed knowledge and skills for their grade. That's really bad. That's just really, really, really bad. So I wanted to tell you about that. You know, this is not all bad news Friday, but yes, it is. You know, there's a lot that's going on. So let's talk about this, the relief that's not happening. The FEMA relief that's not happening for the poor people that were affected by Helene, that happen to live in an area that has been affected by Helene. And it's not that they've been affected by wind, it's by the amount of water and the rain that they had. Copious amounts of rain. And the FEMA, you know, that is an agency that is supposed to be helping American citizens. And what it is America Last, because it is not happening. It is actually people, independent people, it's neighbors helping neighbors, other agencies, other groups of people that are helping the citizens, trying to find the citizens and bringing aid to them via mule, via other private helicopters, hiking it in and hiking people out. It is devastating. This is a mountainous region in Appalachia. And this is not a simple fix. And after that, it has been a week. And it's just atrocious what I have seen, and the videos that people are saying, you know what? We're now getting reports that they're saying we can't we have to have a permit. FEMA goes, you have to have a permit in order to help. You're not trained. You know what? It's common sense shit, man. Helping your neighbor, helping people, rescuing people, bringing supplies in. It's not rocket science. And it's also, there's no guarantee in life. It's okay to take a risk. So for them to go, oh, you have to have a permit. Permit my ass. And people back there are just continuing on to help people. And I'll tell you, if you can give a little, $5 here, $5 there, I would give to look around. I'm not going to name any groups because there are many. Like, hello, how about the Cajun Navy? There's a mule bunch and mule trains, packing in with mules. And there are agencies or groups, I won't call them agencies, but there are groups. There's a group out of Florida that are all military people. And with even National Guard, they're helping the Florida National Guard, but they're not on duty, okay? But they've come to help. Um, there's a lot are helping, but I'll tell you, for FEMA, for the Harris-Biden administration to use FEMA money to house and feed illegals that they have brought in this country, and I don't care what you call. Oh, well, they're temporary asylum seekers. BS. They're all illegal. What has gone on in this country is treasonous, quite frankly. It's against our laws in our nation. And people can come in here. We have a pathway to come in lawfully. Samaritan Purse is doing a lot. A lot. And that, and what you're seeing on mainstream media is not what's being reported. It truly isn't. There's a lot more dead. I read about a sheriff somewhere said, you know what, we've already filled up 500 body bags, but you're not hearing about it. And I don't think they want to tell the people just how bad it is. And, why is that? Why is that? Because it doesn't look good for the Harris-Biden administration. That's why. And it's awful what's happening. And my heart just goes out to them. To see video upon video of people that are doing, I'm not on TikTok at all. And, but I see some TikTok videos over on X. And if you're not on X, you ought to get on X, because that's, and Truth Social. I would get on Truth Social and X. And, but people making videos going, okay, you know what? I'm okay because I'm staying at a friend's house that happens that we just got power back on, 2 days ago and whatnot. But where I come from, it's gone. Communities are wiped out. And it's not just one, it's miles of them. Miles of communities, many communities. And it's bad. It's really bad. And so FEMA and those that, and then Harris, cackling Kamala, communist Kamala, comes and says, but you know what? We're giving you $750 so you can get your much needed emergency supplies. You need some diapers or you need some baby formula and what. That's what she says. And yet you see video. I have seen video after video after video of people saying, okay, I've tried to get my emergency $750 and I'm denied. And all my friends that I talk to, they are denied as well because we have insurance. Oh, great. But you know what? A lot of these people that were affected and have lost everything, they don't have flood insurance. And if you don't have flood insurance, your regular insurance is not going to be paying, if you didn't know. These people are done for. And because their insurance is not going to pay because this was a water disaster. This was a flood. And, FEMA is for floods and natural disasters. It could be earthquakes too. It is not for illegals swarming our borders. And there are thousands more on their way, trying to get here in time for the election. I kid you not. I've seen videos of the Darien Gap that people have said this is the Darien Gap right now. And you just have to know it. You have to know that there's, unfortunately, we're fighting our own government. And if you're thinking the government is going to save you, you're wrong. But you know what? Locally, we help each other. And that's where it's at. Is locals helping locals. And we all need to have that resiliency in our own communities and have those connections in our own communities, because it's very important, because it's not the federal government that's going to fix it. Not at all. And I'm real happy that the longshoremen strike ended. And I'm very glad that happened. And I think there must have been a lot of pressure, because if I know, I'm sure a lot of Americans were feeling the same way I was, that you might want to raise, like we talked about on Wednesday, you might want to raise, but I'll tell you what, when you have a natural disaster like this that is affecting so many, it shows that you don't give a shit about Americans. And in the end, we're all Americans. We're Americans in our country, with the exception of the illegals crossing the border. They are not. And I have compassion for humanity, but I do not have compassion for the illegals crossing our border. I don't. They can go back. They can go back home. Where they live and how they live is not like us. I guarantee it. It is not. Our nation is so beautiful. And so we are the land of opportunity still so much, despite what's going on economically. And that's why people will risk their lives to get here, because of that. So, I'm reading some comments here. Yeah. It's things are not going to be good in the East. I'll tell you, we have a good piece of news. I'm going to end on a good piece of news, because old Biden wanted to, have the student loan forgiveness program, and a judge allowed it to expire. I believe it was Wednesday or Thursday, and now, after green lighting student loan debt relief by a Georgia court, a Missouri judge blocks it again. I'm so glad. and that was going to be enacted on Monday. It would have allowed $73 billion scheme to magically wipe out debt and put us further in debt, in a recession. And a Missouri judge blocked Biden's student loan forgiveness program. That is illegal. And kudos to the judge in Missouri. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so there's been a preliminary injunction against Biden's student loan debt relief, and that was done yesterday. Thank God. And it's a win for the American people. And we have to not let this happen. So we have good news. There's a lot in our country that right now you're going, wow, there's so much. But we have a lot to be thankful for. Put on the armor of God. And we have a lot to be thankful for. We still live in the best country in the world. Have a great weekend.